So y'all, it's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. Yes, I got the skeezy on, but here to do this video about Curtis Blaydes versus Sergei Pavlovich. Great fight in the heavyweight division. I love this fight, man. This is a legit opportunity for both guys. I feel like this is a almost number one contender fight in the heavyweight division. I feel like the winner of this should fight for the belt. Now, obviously, we know Stipe Muchacho has stole a title shot in the heavyweight division against John Jones, but I feel like the next guy up is these two guys, man. These guys have, I mean, Curtis has grinded and he's earned this moment. This is probably what his third number one contender fight, right? We've seen, and third one. Yeah, it is a third one. And he's failed both of them. And he just hasn't reached the success he's wanted to reach. Now, Sergei Pavlovich has had a interesting rise, I would say fast rise. And both guys are, they're a little different from each other, you know. Curtis he's worked for everything, you know. I'm not a big fan of Curtis, but I've learned to respect him. You know, I was one of the guys that called out, you know, fucking Derek Lewis knocking him out. And I was also one of the guys that said fucking Francis Ngannou would knock him out. I've always said Curtis, he doesn't have the it factor. Not that he's not a good wrestler, not that he doesn't have heavy hands and has been looking good on the feet lately. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the ability to chain those two things together. And that is the it factor. And a lot of people tell me, why is it the it factor to you? It's the most key essential thing to what MMA is. It's the ability to mix all the martial arts. It's mixed martial arts. If there's a guy that can chain his 1-2 with his double leg, that's a problem. That's a guy that I consider a problem. But if there's a guy that has a beautiful 1-2 but has no wrestling, I don't think he's a problem. I think he's a problem waiting to be figured out. That's all he is. And Curtis he hasn't showed me that ability to chain his wrestling with his striking. And I've always been very super critical even on his wrestling accolades. You know, I've never thought he was the best wrestler in the division. I've always just thought he was the only wrestler in the division. I've always felt like his level of grappling isn't something that's hard to overcome. With good training and just good grappling fundamentals, I really thought a lot of guys could beat him. But ever since his little run that he's been on, I mean, I've gained a lot of respect for the guy. His last 3 wins have been pretty impressive, but probably his most impressive performance was his Chris Daukaus fight. And then, he beat Tom Aspinall, which, well, you can say whatever, it was a bit of a fluke, but in the Sergei Pavlovich fight, I just find it so hard for me to pick Sergei here. As much as I really wanted to, I kind of changed my mind on the fly. I just don't see a good way how Sergei knocks him out. I could eat crow right here. I really could. But I think this is Blaydes' time. I could be wrong. I really could, but I think it's Blaydes' time. And I think it's time to pull the trigger with Blaydes. I've always felt like him as a contender was never the real guy, but until now. And I think he's finally reached a moment in his career where he's ready to take the next step as a legitimate contender in this division. And I think he has the most marquee fight in the division, and that he's been in 2 other times. That's what's crazy about this fight with Curtis Blaydes, is that, in my humble opinion, the world has a mysterious way of teaching you the same lesson over and over again. And he has fought this type of fighter in Sergei Pavlovich before. He's fought Francis Ngannou and he's fought Derek Lewis, some of the scariest knockout artists of all time. If you're telling me he hasn't learned a lesson since then I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this sport. I think Sergei Pavlovich is a good fighter, but I truly believe that he's been blessed with a lot of good matchups. He's fought nothing but strikers, and he hasn't fought a real legit grappler. Shamil is a cliff dweller runt, and he can't wrestle. That's why I call him a cliff dweller runt. He's not even a good cliff dweller. He's just a runt of his cliff dweller clan. And the last guy to really take him down is Alistair Overeem. And we saw what Alistair did to Sergei Pavlovich. He fucking mauled him. If I am supposed to ignore that, you're crazy. I just can't. I don't know if it's the capper in me, if it's the analyst in me, but I just can't ignore that fact. And I gotta rock with Curtis Blaydes. You know, Curtis, he's been through this fight twice now, and he's been hit with the same result. If you're telling me he hasn't learned from his fucking mistakes, you're fucking crazy. And I truly believe with the way he talks, with the way he's been competing, with the way he's been training, I think he's ready to become a title contender. I've always said this about Curtis, is that in those fights he fought Derek and Francis, he never was ready. Just mentally, you could just see it in the post-fight interviews. If you look at Curtis's run and his rise, he's fought great competition, but it's all been kind of quick. You've actually kind of peep it. And you just look at the names he's beaten, and he's lost to very few, and the guys he's defeated. But you know, he lost that first fight to Francis Ngannou via doctor stoppage. He has wins over Alexei Oleinik, Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem, then lost to Francis Ngannou again. Beat Justin Willis, Shamil, Junior Dos Santos, Alexander Volkov. Then he has that loss to Derek Lewis. He beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Chris Jacques, and then Tom Aspinall. You just look at the list of guys he's beaten, and he's done this in a short amount of time. Honestly, he has developed a legitimate fucking rock steady resume in this weight class, and all Sergei has really accomplished in this weight class is he's beaten Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, Shamil, Marcin Green, Marcelo Gon, and that's it. He has not beat anyone too crazy impressive. His last two wins are good, but they're not Curtis Blaydes, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to walk with Curtis Blaydes here. I think he's gonna get this done. I think he's gonna make easy work of Sergei Pavlovich. I honestly, you can say whatever. I know my guy Fuego, he's a believer in ATT wrestling, but I don't think they can get his wrestling to a point where he's gonna knock out Curtis Blaydes. I could eat crow right here and be incredibly wrong, but I'm rocking with Curtis Blaydes here. I truly believe he gets this done, and I got Curtis Blaydes by third round ground and pound. I think he breaks him with the wrestling, and he gets the job done here. I just think it's super simple. I think it's super simple to go with Curtis Blaydes. But that's it. That's my breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter. Like, comment, and share the video. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing.